Heb 12:25 See that ye refuse not him that speaketh. For if they escaped not who refused him that spake on earth, much more shall not we escape, if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven, whose voice then shook the earth, but now he hath promised, saying, Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven. And this word, yet once more, signifieth the removing of those things that are shaken, as of things that are made, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Once dormant volcanoes have been erupting all over the globe. Mount Rainier has been rattled by more than 1,000 earthquakes this month. One area of Japan has been getting hit by thousands of earthquakes. The largest supervolcano in Europe has been shaking like crazy, and a magnitude 8.8 earthquake just hammered the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. There have only been 5 earthquakes that have ever been recorded that have been larger than the earthquake that we witnessed on Tuesday. 2025 has been the year of the disaster, and we just keep getting hit by one thing after another. For a long time I have been warning that our planet is becoming increasingly unstable, and finally a lot of people out there are starting to understand. The shaking that we are experiencing is not normal. We really are living in apocalyptic times. And yes, things are going to get a lot worse. I believe that we should regard the magnitude 8.8 earthquake that just occurred as a warning. It sent tsunami waves all over the Pacific, but fortunately those tsunami waves did not do that much damage. One of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded struck Russia's Far East early Wednesday, sending tsunami waves into Japan and Hawaii and across the Pacific. No substantial damage has been reported so far, but authorities warned people away from shorelines and said the risk could last more than a day. Ports on the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia near the 8.8 magnitude quake's epicenter flooded as residents fled inland, and frothy, white waves washed up to the shore in northern Japan. Cars jammed streets and highways in Hawaii's capital, with standstill traffic even in areas away from the shoreline. It could have been so much worse. Once the earthquake struck, people living in Hawaii were scrambling to get to higher ground. Thankfully, the tsunami waves that hit Hawaii were only a few feet high, and the tsunami waves that hit the west coast were not much of a problem at all. The first tsunami waves hit Hawaii at 8:20 p.m. local time, 2:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Water levels were above 4 feet in Halewa on Oahu's north shore, reaching 5 feet just minutes later and causing floods. Oahu Emergency Management warned residents, tsunami waves are currently impacting Hawaii. Take action now. In California, the first waves hit the coast at Crescent City near the Oregon border just after midnight local time, while tsunami waves hit Washington state not long after. But the fact that we were just hit by a magnitude 8.8 earthquake is a really big deal. It was the largest earthquake anywhere in the world since the magnitude 9.1 earthquake that caused the giant tsunami that absolutely devastated Fukushima back in 2011. Wednesday's earthquake was the 6th most powerful on record, and the strongest in Kamchatka region since 1952, with aftershocks of up to 7.5 magnitude expected. It is the largest earthquake globally since 2011, when a 9.1 megaquake hit northeast Japan and left 19,747 people either dead or missing. Dozens of very large aftershocks shook the Kamchatka Peninsula following the initial magnitude 8.8 earthquake, and the biggest active volcano in the northern hemisphere began spewing lava. The Klyachevskoye volcano on Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula began erupting on Wednesday following a powerful earthquake off Russia's far eastern coast. Lava began flowing from what is the largest active volcano in the northern hemisphere. The Russian Academy of Sciences United Geophysical Service said in a post on Telegram that descent of burning hot lava is observed on the western slope. Powerful glow above the volcano, explosions. According to Volcano Discovery, 41 volcanoes around the world are currently erupting right now. But don't worry. The experts are telling us that everything is fine. You believe them, don't you? The magnitude 8.8 earthquake that we just witnessed happened on a megathrust fault. The 8.8 magnitude quake off Russia that triggered tsunami warnings across the Pacific occurred on what is known as a megathrust fault, where the denser Pacific plate is sliding underneath the lighter North American plate, scientists said. The Pacific plate has been on the move, making the Kamchatka Peninsula area off Russia's far east coast where it's struck especially vulnerable to such tremors, and bigger aftershocks cannot be ruled out, they said. Of course, there is a megathrust fault just off the west coast of the United States too. It is called the Cascadia Subduction Zone, and it is a ticking time bomb. The Kamchatka Peninsula earthquake may not have brought the same devastation as previous shocks, but a far more deadly seismic event is looming for the U.S. West Coast. A major 600-mile-long fault line known as the Cascadia Subduction Zone runs from northern Vancouver Island in Canada to Cape Mendocino in northern California. It is just a matter of time before a giant earthquake happens along the Cascadia Subduction Zone, and a recent study determined that a large enough quake could cause coastal land to sink 6.5 feet within minutes. A study from Virginia Tech in April showed an earthquake of force 8 or above could cause coastal land to sink 6.5 feet within minutes, devastating cities such as Seattle and Portland and flooding hundreds of miles of roadway, airports, schools, hospitals, and power plants. Researchers determined that the most severe effects would hit densely populated areas in northern California, southern Washington, and northern Oregon. Not too far from the Cascadia Subduction Zone is the most dangerous volcano in North America. A full-blown eruption of Mount Rainier would cause tremendous death and destruction, and this month it has been shaken by more than 1,000 earthquakes. Over 1,000 earthquakes have rocked Washington's Mount Rainier in the largest ever seismic swarm recorded at this active volcano, waiting to erupt. Experts from the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, revealed that this record-breaking earthquake swarm started on July 8 and has continued ever since. As of July 25, geologists have recorded at least 1,010 small earthquakes around the mountain, which is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the U.S. If you live near Mount Rainier, these earthquakes are your warning. It is capable of unleashing enormous tsunamis of superheated mud that travel at speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, and those that currently live in homes that were constructed directly on top of old deposits of superheated mud from Mount Rainier would have very little time to escape. Meanwhile, scientists are now telling us that there is something large moving deep beneath New England. There's something large moving deep beneath New England. This is the conclusion of a new paper by researchers from the University of Southampton, England, who have been studying a mysterious patch of unusually hot rock below the Appalachian Mountains. This region, known as the Northern Appalachian Anomaly, NAA, is some 200 miles wide and lies around 125 miles beneath the surface. I never considered New England to be a high-risk area. But apparently researchers have discovered a huge, slow-moving blob of hot material directly underneath the region. Imagine taking a CT scan of the Earth. That's essentially what geologists did using seismic tomography, a technique that tracks how earthquake waves travel through different layers of the planet. What they found under New Hampshire was a huge, slow-moving blob of hot material. This kind of anomaly is typically seen near volcanoes or tectonic boundaries, but New England has neither. So why am I sharing all of this? I am sharing all of this to warn the world about what is coming. The shaking that we are experiencing is not normal. We really are living in apocalyptic times. And yes, things are going to get a lot worse. The author, Michael Snyder.